New York Times is out this morning with a phenomenal and fascinating zip code by zip code breakdown of where Joe Biden is getting his money to support his campaign and really has raised a tremendous amount across the country versus Donald Trump. And it is a story very much like the story of the electorate. Yeah. Frankly, Joe Biden's campaign overwhelmingly financed by the wealthiest and most educated zip codes in the entire country. So I was drilling down on the state of Virginia just because it's the state that I really know the best. And it's all, super dark blue, tons of donors in the Northern Virginia suburbs, of course. And then if you go down from there, you see a lot of other dark blue patches in college towns. So in Charlottesville, Virginia, where UVA is, in Harrisonburg, where JMU is, in Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech is. So that is the dynamic. You also see some blue down in Hampton Roads. But look, same thing that we see playing out in the electorate across the country. The wealthiest suburbs, those affluent suburbanites, are the beating heart and core of the Biden campaign. And it's also very coastal. Trump's financial base is disproportionately in Texas, much more of a rural, non-college educated base of support for his fundraising.
Yeah, I just crunched just a basic number here. 77% of the Trump campaign's money here raised from these median household incomes comes from households with a median of $100,000 or less, whereas approximately 40 to 50% of Joe Biden's money actually comes from these wealthier zip codes in terms of the amount raised by median household income. But if you take the dollar amount itself, it is genuinely stunning to see just how much of the money is actually coming from the coast, and then even within the coast, within the wealthiest parts of that state. So let me give you an example. This is really fascinating. One Upper West Side zip code, just one, accounted for more than $8 million for Biden. And New York City in total delivered $85 million for him, which is more than he's raised in every state other than the state of California. So that's pretty stunning. And even whenever you're looking within New York State, we're not talking about like upper, New York State or anything like that. Same thing in California. It's San Francisco, it's Sacramento, it's Los Angeles, it's San Diego. New York City, same thing. You can see the urban clusters in basically every state. It's urban-rural divide in real time. They talk
college, non-college too.
It's funny when you read this story. They're painting it. They're like, "Oh, this is the death of the GOP. Like, what are they doing?" Everybody knows the only way to raise money is from rich people. They're like lamenting it, being like, "Now the GOP can't raise all these money from these suburbanites." It's like, whatever will they do? I'm like, well, there are millions of other people who are not suburbanites who also can and do give money, as you can see from the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign of the below 50,000 mark is far outraising Joe Biden in terms of median householding.
Yeah.
So this tells you who the message is for.
We covered this a lot during the Democratic primary because it really mattered who ultimately got the Democratic nomination in terms of the direction, the coalition of the party. Mm-hmm. And what did we see? Of the top candidates, Bernie Sanders was more, he had those Walmart workers and
janitors,
those Starbucks workers and those Amazon workers who were contributing that $10 and $15 and $20 into his campaign to try to make something happen that would actually, serve them in their lives. And every other candidate, essentially, with the exceptions of Andrew Yang and maybe Tulsi Gabbard, when you ask the profession, remember Elizabeth Warren, the number one profession was professor or something like that, or historian.
Librarian.
Librarian, that's
doctor.
Right. And with Bernie Sanders, it was warehouse worker and cashier and things like that. And Joe Biden wasn't really raising any money at that point, so I couldn't tell you what his top professions were, but I think it was more the sort of typical one. Either they don't list a profession, which basically they're rich and they don't really do anything, or they were executives and CEOs and things like that. And so that translates into the coalition that they are bringing into the election. It's a potential, I think it's a winning coalition, but it has dramatic implications for who he's going to serve when if he is, in fact, president of the United States, which is why that primary was ultimately so important, because we are at this tipping point or this turning point in terms of the coalitions within the party. You remember, what was the quote from Hillary after she lost? She said something like, "We want all the places that are dynamic and thriving."
Yes.
Which she thought of as
they think that's a good thing.
A good thing, but was in fact one of the most damning and devastating comments that you can make about a party that's supposed to be the party of the people, right? you're supposed to be the voice of the working class, and here you are like, we don't want to win those people. The places that are struggling, who cares about them? They didn't vote for us, and we don't even want them.
Thriving on the backs of whom is the question.
Yeah, and so this realignment has been sort of, rolling out over the past couple of years, and apparently you see it reflected not only in the voters, but also in the donors. Fascinating data here.
That's right.
Tomorrow in Rising, our friend DC Bureau Chief of The Intercept, Ryan Grimm, is going to join us, as well as Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. I am looking forward to that one.
It's going to be interesting. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Don't forget to like and share as well. Make sure to watch our election night coverage on Tuesday, November 3rd, starting at 9 p.m. We're going to have the latest results, analysis. Reporters from all over are going to be here. We're going to have a stellar panel along with Kyle Kondik and Ryan Grimm to give their perspectives on the night. You guys don't want to miss it, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Have a great one, guys.